today we are doing a Soma Juice 2013 single speed unlimited build. You might wonder why we've got the 16-inch early rider up on the stand. Well, as you can see by the Soma frame, it's a bit of a colour match, so I thought, why not use the early rider as a bit of inspiration. Appreciate the early riders a belt drive, and the Soma Juice didn't introduce a belt drive compatible frame until a few years later, but it's going to be a bit of fun nonetheless. I'm not going to video absolutely every part of the build, but I will talk through all the parts that I use and we'll weigh it up as we go. Alright, let's get started. Okay, cool. So here's the frame. It's already got an XTR bottom bracket installed, and it's got the sliders and some mounting bolts for the disc brakes on it as well. Other than that, it hasn't got any other bits installed. It hasn't got a headset put in. It hasn't got a seat collar, seat tube collar either. So, okay, cool. So as the frame is right now, it weighs 2.49 kilos. Okay, like I said, the frame's already got an XTR bottom bracket installed, so I think the next thing we're going to do is move on to the headset. We've got a nice Chris King with the more subtle print on it. With all the extra bits just resting there, and the frame, we're up to 2.605 kilograms. Alrighty, the King cups are in, so we're ready to move on to the next step, which will be installing the fork. So here's the fork that we're using. It's a Fox Factory 32, about 110 millimeters of travel. So fairly cross-country orientated, but that's fine by me. I don't really need much more travel than that. You'll see it's got the quick release dropouts. I did want a through axle, but because the Soma Juice needs a fork with a straight steerer, we were a little bit limited with choice, so this was the best I could get that kind of fit all the requirements of the frame. Alright, we'll get the bearing race off this fork. You can do this with a screwdriver and a gentle mallet, or you can get one of these things which is designed to pop it off. It just slides down over the steerer tube and sort of clamps in and pops it off that way. So that's what we're going to do. Just like that. Cool. So while we've got that, I already weighed the new bearing race along with the headset bits, so we'll just weigh the fork now as it is. 1.59 kilograms. Here is the rear wheel. Let me talk you through it. We've got a Nexty ultralight carbon rim laced up with DT Swiss spokes on a Hope Pro 4 single speed or trials hub. I'm using an 18 tooth Surly cog on the rear, and this one's a bolt on, so we'll see that later when we're installing it on the bike. Now, as you can see, it hasn't got any rim tape, so I'm going to be doing the Gorilla Tape method for this one, so we'll have a quick look at that when we get to it. But for now, let's stick it on the scale and see how much the rear wheel weighs. Alright, there it is, 1,075 grams or 1.075 kilos. I have no idea if that's light or not for a rear 29er mountain bike. Feel free to comment. Here is the matching front. Let's throw it on the scales and see what that weighs. Now this one's still got the quick release hubs in it, but you can see these Hope hubs are pretty cool. You can just basically pop that out and swap it out for a different axle format, and we'll be doing that in this project next week when the mail arrives. A Thomson stem. This is a 70mm stem. Thomson carbon trail handlebars. Ritchie foam bar grips. 460 grams. Alrighty, as you can see, we've skipped ahead a little bit. We've mounted the tyres up on the wheels. We're using Maxxis Ardents 29ers times 2.4. And at the moment I've got them set up tubeless, so there's a bit of stands, no tubes floating around in there as well. The Ardents themselves weigh in at about 800 grams an end. And so the whole bike to this point coming in at 8.56. Next up, Crankset. We've got the M970 XTR set up as a single ring, of course. It's a race face ring. And the weight of this pair, 565 grams. Alrighty, the sexiest crankset in the world's been installed. So no major surprises there. Current weight sitting at 9.14 kilos. Seat post and saddle, we're using a Physic Bull curve. Really cool saddle. And the Thomson Elite layback post. Saddle's 250 grams. And the post, 270. Starting to look like a bike. Total weight to this point, 9.66 kilos. I think next up we'll put on some brakes. We've got a nice set of Magura MT8s with the matching rotors. Brake rotors come in at about 180 grams. And the brakes themselves, 375. Pretty much just a case of throwing on a chain. I'm just going to be using a Shimano 10-speed chain, and then I'll just be going through the bike and just checking all my torques. Well, there's the completed bike. XT pedals installed. Chains on, brakes on, ready to go for a test ride. And the big question is, what did it weigh in at the finished? Well, it was 10.78 kilos.